Thank you.
All right, welcome back. At this point, we will be going into our interview proper. Like I said earlier, my guests will be joining me. We'll also be having virtual audience from an array of Nigerians. But my two guests that will join me, I'll start introduction with Dr. Franklin Ngwu, who is the Director of Sustainability Center at Lagos Business School. And my second guest is Seun Onigbinde, who is the co-founder at Budget. So let's quickly join our guests right away. Hello, Dr. Ngwu, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Nancy, and good morning, Nigerians, and good to see you again. Good morning.
Good to see you too. Just about 24 hours, or less than 24 hours to October 1, so to speak. Can you really try to sum up the last 61 years for me? You know, perhaps where you were 1960, you know, try to sum up 61 years ago, what you think about Nigeria at 61.
It's been 61 years of up and downs, 61 years of progress with progression, 61 years of growth and recession, 61 years of direction and confusion, 61 years of uncertainty and some certainty. So it's been 61 years of a nation and a country still trying to find the direction it's going. It's 61 years of a nation that the youths are not sure if they are citizens of the country, and not many of them are now voting with their feet, living because of the challenges that they are facing. But it's also 61 years of showing that we have enormous potential and resources that we can use to make the country a better place. So it's 61 years of that we can sit back and re-examine what we've done and where we are going, to say, oh, we are now 61 years old. We are no more young. We are supposed to be doing things differently and better to bring about better outcomes for Nigerians and unborn generations.
Doctor, let me still stick with you, and I hope that our second guest, Seun Onigbinde, is on. I hope, Seun, you're on this call too. Seun is the co-founder of Budget. I would like to see him on the call. If we take a look at, Doctor, and I'm still sticking with you, if you take a look at Nigeria in the last 61 years, is it more of the good or more of the bad or more of the ugly? Or was it, there was a time it was more of the good, and now we're witnessing more of the bad and the ugly?
I think it's a mix, in the sense that we had the times where we can say Nigeria was good. I remember the time my parents were said that once you are a graduate and you come back, things were working. They had light, they had good growth, but of course, you know, we have had exponential increase in our population, but we haven't really prepared for this increase in population. And it's more or less now, it's not really, we can say that Nigeria is in challenging times. So we have had the good times, but in terms of the percentage and between the good and the bad, we can say that the bad times far outweigh the good times.
Okay. We'll come back to the issue of population, because that is also a sticky point. But I can see Seun right now on the call. Hello, Seun Onigbinde. Seun, good to see you, and welcome to our...
Hello, Nancy.
Hi, Seun. Welcome to our Independence Day special. Seun, are you in a celebratory mode? Anything to jubilate for, or be proud of, or be proud about as a country? And you know, not what perhaps various individuals struggle to achieve in spite of the odds against them. You are one young Nigerian who has done that. You know, like we always say privately, from Shomolu to the world, and you understand what I mean. It's a slang between both of us, you know. You know, so...
Yeah, I mean, thanks so much,
yes.
Nancy. I mean, I have a mixed mood. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm in a very jubilant mood. I would also not say it's been all sadness. Nigeria is a country with great potential. Like someone said to me recently, Nigerians don't look like the real opportunity in Nigeria or the endowment of the country itself. And if you look at the life cycle of the country, 61 years looks a bit short. I mean, we have countries that have existed for 900 years, empires of 600 years. So by the time we look at us, we'll be aware that 61 years is not a lot of time in a way. But what we can do is that we can do differently is the quality of public policy. That is not there as it should be. The country also suffers from poor socioeconomic challenges, poverty, poor investment in human capital, poor infrastructure. And we don't need 300, 200 years to get it right in Nigeria. With quality leadership, we can get it right in the country to just organize its resources effectively. So I'm not in an happy mode, and I'm not too thoroughly sad. I'm just hopeful, because hope is an important currency for a country in any cycle of life. Yeah.
I don't know really how I feel today, and perhaps how I'll feel tomorrow, whether I'll feel better a bit tomorrow, because some of us, of course, I'm not 61, but my parents have told me how the good old days, were. And for me, it's also quite mixed, but I think for me, it's now more of the ugly and the bad, especially what we're being confronted with every day. Sometimes I ask myself, I say, I hope I don't have PTSD now, because of the because of the gruesome stories you wake up to every morning, or even people that that terrible things are happening to. But that leads me to the question of nationhood. Seun, I want you to take it up from before I move over to Doctor. What are the painful questions that we have been dodging to answer over these years that we cannot run away from, even as we turn 61, to be able to reinvent ourselves? I was speaking with a very highly respected man. I don't want to call his name, but he's well known in the country. And we're speaking just, I think, a week ago or so. I was like, okay, well, how do you feel about Nigeria at 61? And he said something very striking. He said, Nigeria at 61 is just like a man that is acting like a child. And I remember I told him also that even saying that Nigeria as a 61-year-old man is acting like a child is not even so much of a good analogy, because children act very innocently. They don't know what they are doing, but it's like we know what we are doing and we don't want to correct our mistakes. So what are those painful questions that we know we must answer, but we are dodging from answering them? Seun, take it over.
I wrote a book recently called Existential Questions. And the existential questions was, I came out of the position that Nigeria has always dodged serious or significant questions that are important to its existence. You will be aware of the current conversation of VAT that is distributed at 20% goes to the state of derivation, 50% is by equality, and 30% is based on population. But there have been concerns about, is that a proper methodology of distributing it? There are concerns around the export structure of Nigeria. We can't run away from. That's the number one conversation we need to have. One, how do we build a country where we diversify the exports of Nigeria? We need to sell something else to the world apart from oil. The reason why you see exchange rate going in different swings and CBN cannot intervene as it should be is because we don't even have an export structure to work with. The only thing that determines is oil price and production numbers. Until we're able to fix that, which is a problem we've had even since the 70s, we cannot move forward as a country. So a dollar can be 1,000, 2,000 naira, depending on how the cycle is going, because we have not fixed our competitiveness on a global scale. Secondly, is the issue of taxation. It's very clear that oil money has been that bedrock of supporting Nigeria over the years. We cannot run away from the fact that we need to smoothen the curve of public finances. Depending on when oil money is there, it's a boom period. When oil money is not there, it's a downtime. No, we need to build a country of tax revenue and non-tax revenue, not oil revenue and non-oil revenue, which means taxation has come key. And if taxation is going to be key, growth will be essential. Prolonged, diversified progressive growth. Those are the kind of things that will transform the situation of Nigeria. The third thing in my mind is security. Security architecture as it is right now is grossly inefficient, it is underwhelming, and cannot help Nigeria in any way. So those are the kind of three questions I'll put down there. We need to fix our export diversification, we need to rework our entire tax architecture, and we need to make sure that the country is secure in a decentralized manner. The idea of a federal policing system for the size and the complexities of Nigeria actually does not work for us anymore. And the signs and the results are very obvious.
Doctor, any other painful questions apart from these three that Seun has raised?
Thank you very much, Nancy, and thank you very much, Seun. I mean, the points that Seun raised are very, very valid. However, what we need to also appreciate is that some of the points that he raised are the outcomes from economics. So we are looking at the economy. But of course, you know, economic outcomes depends on policy that you make. And the policy that you make depends on the politics that we have in the country. And the politics more or less depend on the sociology of the country, in terms of what we call plurality of the country. So there is, most of the time in Nigeria, we normally focus on symptoms without looking at the root causes of the problem. So the problem with Nigeria is not about the economy per se. The problem with Nigeria is not about the resources that we have. We have abundant ones. The problem with Nigeria is not about the people or the human resources that we have. We have. The problem with Nigeria is the structure of governance that we have in Nigeria in terms of the how plural we are as a people. So what we are missing, or what is really causing this problem, even at 61 years, unemployment is increasing, insecurity, all kinds of negative outcomes that we are having, they are all related to the kind of the structure of governance that we have in the country. So there is nobody really addressing this unless we sit down and address this question of what structure of governance do we need that can make Nigeria to start progressing in the right direction. We will not move where we are going. I'm sure as you look at it now, all eyes and all issues are pointing to 2023. But nobody is really asking the question to say, in Sokoto State, the poverty rate is about 80%. In Yobe State, the poverty rate is about 70%. In Enugu State, the poverty rate is about 60%. The reason why we're not asking these questions is because all eyes are on the federal government. Because the governors now may believe that Nigerians will not even ask some of these questions because everybody is talking about who controls the center. So until and when we now sit down and say, what kind of structure of governance will work for us, we will not be able to achieve anything that we want to achieve. And if we look at all developing countries that are doing well, and even developed societies that are doing well, you find out that they have a structure of governance that is suitable to their sociology in terms of the nature of the environment of that society. But what we've done in Nigeria, that we've ignored the sociology of our country and now brought in a governance structure that is most unsuitable, and there is a conflict between the two. And that is why we're having this kind of outcome that we are having. The center the power at the center is more or less too much. So we need to really sit down and say, how do we devolve powers to other federating, other components of the society? And that is why the governors are not even paying attention to what they are supposed to do in their states, because they believe that all their attention is to the federal government. So the federal government is doing too much. We need to really see that's the key question that we have to ask, to say, what can we do to reduce the powers and the attraction that we have at the center, so it can move to the regions, or the state, or the local government.
Okay, Doctor, let me stick with you a bit, and I'll come to Seun later after the break. But Dr. I want you to answer this in a few seconds. You've raised certain questions that we need to answer. Seun also did the same. I have a plethora of questions that we even need to answer ourselves, because even as a Nigerian, I don't know as a Nigerian what I stand for. You can say what American is and what values Americans even stands for, or even some other African countries. Like in Ghana, for example, is it last year? Ghana said, did something the year of the return. And, you know, most Black Americans coming back to Ghana, you know, but that is just by the way. Do you see a readiness to answer these questions? Because many Nigerians may know those questions, but are you seeing a readiness by every one of us to answer these questions, to rediscover ourselves? Very quickly, Doctor.
even if we are not ready to answer the questions, the realities are making us and forcing us to answer the questions. If you look at insecurity in the country, if you look at the unemployment, if you look at the inflation, if you look at so many challenges that we are facing, people are beginning to ask themselves, where are we going? And that is why people are really asking, what kind of society do we need? What kind of this? So even if the politicians and our leaders don't want to answer this question, it must be answered either by true dialogue or maybe through other factors that are happening in our country that are forcing us to rethink. So it's a fundamental something that we have to really ask ourselves. What structure of governance do we need in the country?
Okay. I'll go on a break in a bit, but Seun ruminates around this question, and you would answer it when we come back. That how can we build a functional political, non-rent seeking political system that will drive the economy? So that question you would answer after the break, and it dovetails from what Dr. said earlier in terms of for us to get our economy right, the politicians driving the wheel, they must be competent and they must know what to do. But Seun, you answer that after the break. Let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, the program continues as Independence Day special. Definitely will be, Nigeria will be 61 tomorrow. So we are, just fastening our seatbelt. Just take a listen to this.